about core today. Now, core is one of the most popular topics out there in fitness and health. And when most people think of core, they think of abdominal muscles. Now, core is much more than that. I typically say it's basically from your shoulders to your knees. And I would even argue that there's no such thing as the core, because anytime you're moving outside of Shavasana and yoga, you're using your core. So everything in the body is integrated. You see, fitness evolved out of the bodybuilder mentality, or at least popular fitness did. Fitness has been around for long before that. But it evolved out of the bodybuilder mentality of isolating muscles. Your biceps, your triceps, your chest, your back. The problem is, the human body doesn't work like that. When we move, everything's connected. And when people think about training the core, it's typically an isolation exercise like the crunch. But the core is involved in everything we do. When we push, when we pull, when we walk, our gait patterns, when we lift something, pull something down, pull something towards us, we're always using our core, particularly if we've got one hand pulling or one hand pushing. Then we have a rotational aspect, which absolutely involves the core. Anything with a stick, a bat, a ball, or a striking combat type sport involves rotational power. The challenge is traditional core training doesn't teach your body to do that better. What we're going to talk about today is how to really connect all those dots and start to think about core training differently. Start to think about your body differently, and how, while you might be doing a pulling motion, there's a lot more that goes into it than just pulling something towards you. Because if your pelvic position and your shoulder blades aren't connected, then it doesn't really matter what you're trying to pull, because you're not going to be as effective. So check out the exercises we're going to do. All right, one of the most basic exercises in either a push or pull starts from our shoulder, or I guess shoulder girdle control, we'll call it, or scapular control. The way I explain this is, imagine your rib cage is a barrel, and you've got this barrel here, and your shoulder blades are these two bony triangles that sit on that barrel, and they can move in and out, they can move up and down, and when you move your arms like this, the bony triangles actually rotate like that. They're constantly moving, they're in control, but the key thing is you need to be in control of that. If you go to push something, or you push open a door, for example, and you don't have a good stable shoulder, your shoulder blade is going to come back, or you're going to collapse forward when you're trying to do something. We want to be able to control that motion. Really simple exercise to do that is just to stand here. Can you lift your shoulders up, pull them down, pull them back, pull them forward, do circles, lift one up, lift the other, move them in any direction you want and control. When you can do that, great. Now, what we want to be able to do is do that with load. That load can come from anywhere. If we're doing a push-up, for example, we're pushing the force into the ground. If we're doing a row, we're pulling towards us. If we're doing a shoulder press, we're pressing above us. If we're pulling like a chin-up, we're pulling down. The force is going in different directions each time, but that shoulder blade control is still critical to our success performing that motion. Here's a simple exercise to improve the ability to stabilize the shoulder. We're going to start with one hand. Just grab a tubing band like this. It can be a cable machine if you have it. Just going to reach out like this. The first move is just going to be what we call shoulder retraction. Pull the shoulder blade back. Let it come forward, pull it back again. Really straightforward. The challenge is, most people when they pull are going to arch their back like this. They're lifting the chest up, they're sticking their butt out like that. We want to maintain that core connection, bracing the core. The only thing that moves is that shoulder blade sliding along the rib cage. Should be nice and smooth and controlled. Nothing else should move. Once we have that control, we can start to do it in other angles. If I'm pressing here, I can press my shoulder forward, let it slide forward, back. exact same motion, just coming from a different angle. If I'm doing a shoulder exercise, I can go here, I can lift my shoulder, bring it down. Same thing with overhead. If I'm pulling with one hand, I can drop it, let it come back up, drop it back down. That simple control seems very basic. Most people think it's too simple to even work on. Yet as soon as they go to grab a cable machine or do a dumbbell chest press, their shoulders popping up. They don't have that control over the motion. That's the key thing that we want to practice. So practice from all different angles, pulling, pushing, lifting up, dropping down. All these different things you have the ability to control that, but most people don't.